What's up, everybody? Let's talk Jets radio. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy report day. The Jets report to training camp today. Veterans will be there. First practice tomorrow. I believe today is all conditioning drills, and then Saturday is the first open date to the public. I'll be there. Can't wait to meet up with a bunch of you guys. We finally made it. This is an exciting time, and even better is that, we're getting some good news. Pretty much no distractions heading into camp with Becton looking like he's in good shape. So I do have 4 parts to preview as far as training camp goes with the O-line, D-line, linebackers, and secondary. I was hoping to get to it a little bit quicker, but I took a road trip a few days ago out to Florida. Been spending, some time out here working with Jay. Just kind of learning some tricks to the trade as far as editing and video clips and all stuff like that I think is actually going to, really help out the channel. So I'm excited for that, excited to get back and really just get back to the grind. Hadn't been on a vacation in I don't know how long, so it was nice to come out here and kind of clear my head. But going to the offensive line, I'm glad I waited to do my O-line preview because I had major concerns about Becton as of about a week ago. It does put me a little bit more at ease knowing that he's slimmed down. He's been at the facility, I think they said, for the last 30 days. So whatever message the Jets sent, and I don't take back my previous comments because I think it was clear the fact that the Jets did have to send a message. And, there were multiple reports that he was pushing 400 pounds and they weren't happy with the work he was doing in the offseason. Whatever message they sent, it got through. If he's been there the last 30 days and he's actually slimming down and he's close to maybe getting off the PUP list, there's no reason to rehash all the events from the past, the freak injury from last year and everything else. It's a clean slate from here on forward. I would love for this guy to, be protecting Zach Wilson for the next number of years. Whether or not it's going to be on the left side or the right side, I still assume he's going to be the right tackle just because Fant, I think, earned that job last year. Now, the big question is whether or not you can agree to a contract with Fant. When he signed initially, it was a 3-year deal, $27.5 million. That's phenomenal value. That's right in line with Joe Douglas's thinking. But now when you look at him, at probably a left tackle, assuming he's going to be your left tackle this year, are you willing to pay him premium left tackle money? And, you're not paying him at age 27, you're paying him at 30 now, and that's, not even saying that's old. But does that fall in line with Joe Douglas's philosophy as far as finding great value? I think that Fant has definitely exceeded his contract, and I do think it sends a good message to the locker room when you reward guys like that. I'm just not sure if Joe Douglas is willing to do that, or if they want to maybe take a season, see what they get out of Becton this year. Maybe he is still the answer long-term at left tackle, and you don't have to invest that money in George Fant. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see how that situation plays out, along with the guards, too. And I love both the guards, but you are moving Vera Tucker over. I know he's played right guard at USC. Shouldn't be much of a transition for him. I think it'll be fine. He's versatile. He's athletic. And he's going to have some help with McGovern. I think McGovern was more than effective last year once you got rid of Van Roten and you had LDT in there. I think that made a world of difference having him. So I'm excited to see this offensive line. I really am. I still think they need some depth. I would say that a starting caliber tackle, somebody like a Riley Reef. I think Nate Solder's still out there, although that's a name I'd probably want to stay away from. But just somebody that has starting experience, that's been on the field. I think that's important. Morgan Moses was huge last year. I don't know if Zach Wilson makes it through the year if they don't have Morgan Moses. So I'd love to see them, bring in somebody like that. I know Dwayne Brown was talked about for a little bit, but I think he had some gun charges or something a week ago. But the depth along the interior I think is okay. You got Feeney as your guard / center backup. You still have Nate Herbig as well. They signed him a couple months ago. He's got about 17 starts over the last 2 years with the Eagles. You have Max Mitchell, who's a nice tackle prospect, but I think he's more of a project. Somebody, maybe next year you can feel comfortable backing up as a 4th-round pick. You probably don't want him on the field this year. Chuma Doga, Connor McDermott, guys like that. I know they signed Isaiah Williams yesterday. More depth along the interior, but for the backup tackle spot, right now it's a Doga or McDermott pretty much, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with, either of those guys really being on the field right now. I know they filled in last year for a couple weeks and, it wasn't awful. But certainly I think there's better quality out there. If you want to have one of those guys on your roster as depth, I think that's okay. But if you keep both of them and, you're kind of forced into a position where if Becton goes down, that one of those two have to play for an extended period of time, I don't think that'd be good. Going to the D-line, and this group is exciting. It's deep. It's versatile. So many pieces that you can move around. You look at what's been talked about as far as the rotation and how they're going to have guys on the field on early downs, where it's probably John Franklin Myers on the outside with Carl Lawson opposite him, and then Quinnen Williams, and possibly even, I think Samini tweeted out yesterday he thinks Nathan Shepard could be your starter at D tackle on first and second downs and run situations. But you still have Solomon Thomas, you have Sheldon Rankins. I know Salah said that they want to move John Franklin Myers inside on passing downs, and then you throw in Jermaine Johnson. He's going to be on the edge in passing downs. He's going to be worked in there a lot. You still have Michael Clemens. I think he's got plenty of potential. Is there room for a Bryce Huff? He was one of my favorite players last year, an undrafted kid over the last 2 years who really has made the most of his opportunities. He really gets home to the quarterback, and that's been without a lot of help. So, you factor in Quinnen and Lawson and all these other guys wreaking havoc. Bryce Huff might be able to make an impact. It's just a matter of, is there a place for him on the roster? You still have Vinny Curry and, like I said, Nathan Shepard and Solomon Thomas and Rankins. You have a lot of guys along this defensive line that are going to be rotating in, not to mention Jacob Martin as well, the free agent signing from Houston. So a lot of guys to rotate there. Going over to linebacker, this is one of the positions where it's not very deep, but you might be set with all your guys between the signing of Harris from San Francisco, hybrid safety linebacker, knows the defense. You got Nasruddin and Sherwood coming back as, your 2 second-year players. CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams, those guys are probably on the field to start. Quincy Williams, much more effective against the run. CJ Mosley last year, he was trying to do it all. I'm excited to watch him this year with a lot more help on all 3 levels, really, of this defense. Assuming that some of the younger kids show some growth, and then what you've added on the D-line and the secondary. So I'm excited to, see CJ Mosley take that next step. I think he's a legitimate leader, a legitimate dog, somebody that's all about football, wants to win, the exact kind of culture guy that you want leading this group. So excited for him. And then you go to the secondary, and this group has changed so much, where you look at, Bryce Hall and Eccles, who were your starters last year. Now you're 2 and 3. You wonder if maybe they get a look in the slot, or if that's just, Michael Carter's job, along with Javelin Guidry, if those guys are just going to battle it out. But having Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed as your 1 and 2, that's a great problem to have. You wonder if they're just going to play one side of the field, or if they might try to move Reed or Gardner around, lock them down on your number ones. I wouldn't think that Gardner early on is going to see number ones. I would think that you would give that to your $14 million corner who's got the experience, who's been around for a little bit. But it wouldn't shock me at all if by the end of the year, if Gardner's playing up to that level and showing that he's capable of that. You also got your safeties, Jordan Whitehead. I think he's going to make a big difference. I think not having LaMarcus Joyner was a huge blow last year. He's very versatile, could do a lot of things. You got Pinnock, who a lot of people think could actually win the starting job as well. Ashton Davis in year 3. We've all known he's got the physical traits. Can he put it all together? So a lot of competition, especially on the back end. I didn't even mention Will Parks. He was somebody that, I believe he was here at the end of last year, re-signed. He's got some ability, so you got a lot of names back there. I'm pretty sure there was some talk about Jesse Bates and some fans that want to go after him. I'm like, why? You added You got 2 premium corners. Why go after another guy in the secondary at this point? For me, if there's one priority, it's got to be the backup tackle spot. If you're looking at another priority, it's probably another coverage linebacker, because you have Sherwood coming off the surgery. I think it was his Achilles or his knee. And then you have Nasruddin as well. He's a second-year player. I thought he showed a lot more last year. I'm a little bit more excited about him than over Sherwood. But Harris is going to be out there too. I think they're probably going to go with a lot of, 3 cornerback packages, nickel dime, get your speed out there now that, especially that you have some guys in the secondary that you can work with. So is there really that big of a need to, sign a starting caliber linebacker? How often is Quincy Williams going to be out there? Do they view him as a long-term answer? So a lot of questions, but I'm just excited to have football back. This offseason has, for whatever reason, it's felt like it's dragged on forever. So excited to have it all back. We'll be live streaming as soon as I get back, and I promise plenty of great content coming on the way. So thank you guys for all the support. Talk to you soon.